15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club.
This interview was supposed to be just another one of those light-hearted, behind-the-scenes moments, a casual conversation between two comedy legends. But what unfolded was something no one could have predicted. Kevin Hart and Katt Williams, two of the biggest names in comedy, went toe-to-toe in a way that left fans and even the closest friends in shock. What started as a simple conversation about their careers quickly spiraled into a fiery argument that exposed raw emotions, deep betrayals, and shocking accusations. It wasn't just an interview.
All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
It was a confrontation, a moment that would change the way we viewed their relationship forever. Everyone was left asking one question. Was this all for show? Or did something much darker lie beneath the surface? The truth, as it turns out, was more complicated and much more painful than anyone could have imagined. From the moment Katt Williams walked into the interview room, you could feel the tension. What was supposed to be a professional conversation between two iconic figures turned into a raw, emotional exchange that no one saw coming. Kevin Hart, known for his cool, collected persona, was visibly shaken. Katt, on the other hand, was ready to throw punches, verbally, of course. The atmosphere was thick with hostility, but it wasn't just Katt's words that were cutting through the tension. It was the look in his eyes, the anger, the disappointment, the hurt. The accusations he threw Kevin's way weren't just about business deals or career choices, they were personal. He accused Kevin of betraying their friendship, of turning his back on everything they once stood for. Katt's words were like daggers, each one meant to wound deeper than the last, and Kevin, caught off guard, struggled to defend himself. It wasn't just an argument.
I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist to a degree. Like, when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know. But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, wow, all these brothers gotta wear a dress. This happened to me. I'm doing a movie with Martin.
Yeah.
The movie's going good. So I walk in the trailer. I'm like, man, this must be the wrong trailer because there's a dress in here. They come in. The writer comes in. I think he's the writer. He's like, Dave, listen, you got this hilarious scene where Martin's sneaking out of jail. So he disguises you as a prostitute. And he put this dress on. And, what? A prostitute? Nah, I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable with that. That should have been in the discussion. What? You don't feel comfortable with it? I mean, it's a hilarious bit. All the greats have done it. So, well, if all the greats have done it, it's kind of hacky, right? You're right. So why don't we just not do it? Because I don't feel comfortable wearing a dress. Oh, come on, Dave. Listen, we got it all set up. We're supposed to shoot. Every minute you waste costs this much money. You know, the pressure comes in. Huh. He said, I'm not wearing no dress, man. I'm funnier than a dress. Just give me something funny to say. I don't even wear no dress to be funny. What am I, Milton Berle? You know, we're going like this. And then finally he's like, and he leaves. And then like the director comes, Dave, it really would be great if you wear the dress.
It was a public display of a betrayal that had been simmering for years. What happened next was even more shocking. The way Kevin Hart, usually so quick with his words, sat there in stunned silence, his face a mixture of disbelief and confusion. This wasn't just about jokes and punchlines anymore. This was about trust, loyalty, and respect. Things Katt felt had been ripped away from him by someone he once called a friend. Kevin's silence spoke volumes. He wasn't just stunned by Katt's accusations, he was betrayed. He had no idea it would come to this. Katt was throwing accusations left and right, but Kevin wasn't ready to fight back in that moment. The weight of it all seemed to sink in, and as the interview continued, the gravity of Katt's words became even more intense. It was a tense standoff, and the world was watching.
The minute it was clear, I was adamant. I'm not wearing a dress. I'm not wearing the dress. All right, fine. Think of something else. That comes back 10 minutes later. The whole new scene. Hot damn, how did you write the scene so fast?
But how did we get here? How did two men who had once been close friends and allies end up in a battle that would tear their relationship apart? Their history was long and complicated, full of moments of camaraderie, shared laughter, and mutual respect. They had shared stages, worked on projects together, and even helped each other when things were tough. At one point, it seemed like nothing could tear them apart. But over time, things changed. The pressures of fame, the weight of personal and professional expectations, and the relentless grind of the entertainment industry began to wear on them both. What had once been a close friendship started to fray at the edges. The cracks appeared slowly at first, little things, small disagreements, misunderstandings that no one ever really talked about. But over time, those small things built up into something unspoken, something that lingered between them, until it became too big to ignore. As Katt's accusations continued to fly, the emotional impact of this betrayal hit home. It wasn't just about business. It wasn't just about success or failure. It was about two people who had once trusted each other more than anyone else. And now, that trust had been shattered. The audience watching couldn't help but feel the weight of it. The anger in Katt's voice, the confusion in Kevin's eyes, everything was raw and real. This wasn't scripted. This wasn't a show for ratings. This was personal. And that made it all the more devastating to witness.
Great comedian said that, in the industry, they tried to make him wear a dress. Have you ever ran into that with scripts? And is that something that, you wouldn't do, for...
I definitely haven't ran into to put on the dress. I mean, you have to have boundaries. You have to have limits that you refuse to cross. For me, I know what they are. They've yet to been challenged, so I don't have to speak on them. I was asked to dribble a basketball on the talk show this morning.
You look good.
No to that. Not that was a dress, but I was like, no, I'm gonna look stupid. At the end of the day, you got to know that you're a brand. I'm a brand. You need to protect your brand at all times. When things happen that can possibly affect your brand, your brand can be diminished, and you don't want that to happen. So, protecting my brand is definitely a priority.
And as if the drama wasn't already intense enough, the families of both men got caught up in the fallout. Kevin's wife, Eniko, who had always stood by him, was reportedly furious. The personal nature of Katt's accusations cut deep, and Eniko wasn't going to stand by quietly. She made her feelings known, publicly defending her husband, making it clear that the line Katt had crossed was unforgivable. The betrayal wasn't just a slap in Kevin's face. It was a slap in the face of his family, his loved ones. And Eniko wasn't the only one affected. Katt's own family was shaken by the public fallout. His supporters rallied around him, claiming that Kevin had crossed a line long before the interview ever took place.
At the end of the day, Kevin doesn't have to worry about what people are going to say about him wearing a dress because of the long line of dress-wearing people before him. So now we have Big Mama's house 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
I've never seen Medea in a pantsuit. I think she wears dresses. So now I'm saying, why are we picking on poor little Kevin Hart? Because it was his turn next.
Okay.
It was no longer just an issue between two men. It was a family affair, and the tension was thick. But perhaps the most intense reactions came from the fans. They were the ones who had followed these two comedy legends for years, who had seen them at their highest highs and lowest lows. They had supported them, laughed with them, cried with them, and now they were caught in the middle of this unexpected feud.
The reason I don't do Big Tigger is because I had a tumor in my upper jaw and they had to take it out, and they had to block the whole right of my sinus with a piece of metal. So ever since I got out the Marine Corps, I can only breathe out of one nostril, boy. I get my blood tested every 3 months for the last 15 years. All narcotic tests have come up 0.00%. I'm 44 years old, little Tigger. You look up my rap sheet. I have never had a DUI or a possession of anything, not even the I do every day. See, when you real, you can tell the truth about anything or anybody.
What had started as a small disagreement quickly grew into a full-blown spectacle, with fans weighing in on both sides. Some believed Katt had every right to be upset, while others took Kevin's side, accusing Katt of bitterness and jealousy. The theories began to pour in. Was this a publicity stunt? Was it all just for show? Or was there something deeper at play here? The speculation was wild. Some fans believed the feud was part of a larger plan to resurrect both of their careers, while others thought it was a genuine breakdown of a friendship that had been broken for years. The fans were left guessing, but one thing was clear: the drama wasn't over. It was just beginning. And then, just when everyone thought the situation had reached its peak, Kevin Hart dropped a bombshell. In a rare moment of vulnerability, Kevin opened up about his side of the story, but his words weren't what anyone expected. Instead of taking the high road, instead of trying to smooth things over, Kevin exposed something much darker about Katt Williams, something personal, something that had been hidden beneath the surface for years. It was a moment that took everyone by surprise. Kevin's accusations hit hard, and suddenly, the tables were turned. What had been a simple interview spiraled into something much bigger. This wasn't just a war of words. This was a public airing of grievances that went far beyond the entertainment industry. This was about power, ego, and who would come out on top. The stakes had just been raised, and there was no turning back now. As the story unfolded, fans were left on the edge of their seats. The drama, the accusations, the emotional toll, it was all too much. But the biggest question of all remained unanswered. Would Kevin and Katt ever make up, or was this the end of their friendship for good? Would they bury the hatchet, or would they continue to tear each other apart in the public eye? The world was watching, and no one knew what would happen next. As the interview ended, there was a lingering sense of anticipation. The truth was out there, but no one had yet to fully uncover it. The stakes were higher than ever, and the drama was far from over. What would happen next? Would the two men come to terms with their differences, or would their feud spiral into something more dangerous? Fans were waiting for the next chapter, and they were not about to let this story slip by without knowing how it all ended. With everything that had happened, there was only one thing left to do: watch the fallout unfold. Would they reconcile, or would this be the final chapter in their once great friendship? The speculation was endless, and the fans were ready for whatever came next. But for now, all we could do was wait and watch as the drama between Kevin Hart and Katt Williams continued to unfold before our eyes. One thing was for certain: the story wasn't over. In fact, it was just getting started.